podcast, Can You Take My Shift? Your favorite coworkers are off the clock and back for another episode. Welcome back, my favorite gender-neutral term, home skillets. Amy, what is your favorite gender-neutral term?
I'm going to sound like an asshole now that you've done it that way. My favorite gender-neutral term is horse.
So welcome back, home skillets and whores, to another episode. Mm-hmm. How was your week, whore?
Thanks for asking, whore Kelsey. My week was good. I celebrated 6 months with my partner, so that was really fun. We just had a nice little date night for that.
Gross. People in love.
Ugh, I know, it's the worst, hey?
Yeah, whores in love.
Ugh. Disgusting. But it was really nice. And other than that, just doing my silly little tasks at my silly little office job, pretending to be a real adult.
Fair enough.
Yep. How was your week, whore?
It was good, just working away. I had an interesting call today. So, where I work, we take, the general public in for appointments because the students are training.
Yes.
And this guy who comes in all the time calls me, and he's like, I need to cancel my appointment. And I was like, okay. And I need to cancel all my future appointments because he books, 3 months in advance.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, also, would you be able to send me my intake form to prove I should be coming here for medical help? And I was like, okay. He's like, I'm on house arrest, and I'm petitioning the courts so I can leave my house and get the treatments I need. And I was like, okay, let me see what I can do.
Oh, happy Monday to you. Oh my God.
So I Peter over to my boss, and I was like, all right, I got a weird one for you. And I start with, so he's on house arrest, and she just can't stop. Her face is the most shit-eating grin. And part of my sick curiosity is I kind of want to know why he's on house arrest.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Because he seems fine. He's polite. He's a little rough around the edges, but he's quite polite. And then no one's ever complained about him, and he seems normal. So it could be, it could be anything.
It could be Scott Lang in in the second Ant-Man movie. He was on house arrest. He just that was his, because he's a nice enough guy, so petty crime maybe.
Maybe. I highly doubt he's Ant-Man, but that was how my day went.
Interesting.
Yeah. But another thing that happened is our wonderful friend Jenn came to visit us. Say hi, Jenn.
Hello.
Jenn, welcome whore Jenn to the podcast.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Welcome to our cozy recording studio.
Love it. Beautiful.
You see where the magic happens. We use our toadstool as a spot for our microphone, and then we sit on the floor.
Yeah. As you should.
It's
more comfortable that way.
Absolutely.
So, really.
But Jenn, shall we get this cute, cheeky little interview started? So we'll start this with how we 90% of the time start our interviews. Jenn, what was your first impression of Amy?
So my first impression of Amy was, she's a little weird.
Oh, okay, cool.
That's how we're gonna start.
Cool. Nice.
That's kind of, but that she was also really sweet and shy and everything like that. So that was kind of my first impression.
Why did you think I was weird?
I don't know.
Just the energy I gave off?
I think so.
Sure.
I'm gonna go with that.
Okay.
Yeah. That was my impression of you.
What was your first impression of me?
See, I was trying to think. I remember meeting you in a break room. That's the only way I remember meeting you, and you were kind of I don't know. My mind is blanking on everything else, but I remember you have this outgoing personality, and you were really nice and excited to be there, and kind of a little shy at the time, but it's been a long time for that. So trying to think of memories, I'm ooh, okay. We'll try to figure it out, but
that's one of the nicest first impressions. Usually people are you're a bitch.
I didn't think that. Maybe Amy, but
no. I was this girl seems a little, because I met Kelsey at the interview, and I was this girl seems a little stuck up, but a couple people at the interview did, so I was just maybe they just think they're guaranteed to get it or something.
Yeah.
We don't got stuck up. I was nervous as hell. And
Yeah.
I was, you know, when you go into an interview and you prepare like interview questions and then they don't ask any of them.
And then you're
Yeah.
like scrambling because you don't know what to say now.
Yeah, that happened to me with all the theme park questions too. I was
See, my theme park questions were pretty like dead on.
Really?
Yeah, for what I was like prepared for. So I was like, okay.
Then you did not. We apparently got the wrong memo.
Yeah, apparently
We all did. We're like, what?
Yeah, but Amy, what was your first impression of Jenn?
My first impression of Jenn is that she didn't like me. I like, because we always talk about this because we find it really, really, really funny. But I remember just like little me starting in like baby Canada, and I was like excited, and I was excited to meet people because I met Jenn at the interview, but it was like really briefly. We just like quickly talked about how we were both from Calgary.
Yeah.
And then I think I ran into you at the store one time right before I left.
Yeah,
or
you
right
and your
before
mom. Before I left.
Right before you left.
Yeah.
Because you arrived before me.
Yeah.
But I was just like, oh, like, maybe they're having a bad day. But then the bad days didn't change. And I was like,
For like a good couple weeks.
yeah, a good couple weeks. And I was like, okay, like, it's fine. They don't have to like me. We just have to like work together. But then it was really awkward because we ended up having like a mutual friend. So then we would always hang out with her. So then I was always around you anyway. And then we had the same days off.
Yeah.
So,
did.
so then I remember one time I was like, oh, because at first I thought like you didn't like me, and you were like, what made you think that?
Like straight up called you out. I was like, I never said that.
I never said that. I was like,
Never-
I don't know.
Never meant that.
This is like, you just seemed a little stressed. Just a little.
Yeah.
But in that defense, it was like around Christmas time.
Yeah.
And we were talking about this earlier. When I had started in Mini Canada was a very, very tense time for everybody.
It was.
It was.
It was the worst timing ever.
Yeah, because I arrived there and then I had like my first day of training in like tiny Canada, and then the next day shit hit the fan real fast.
Literally.
Like the first day was fine.
Yeah.
And then the second day everyone was like scrambling and like upset.
We were short a person.
Yeah, short a person because like myself and my other friend was training. They were technically short 2 people. And my friend who I was training with, we had no idea what was going on. We've been here
These poor
for...
newbies are coming into our area and are like, what is happening?
Yeah, we're like, did we do something wrong?
Yeah. Is it our fault?
Yeah.
We're like, no, that's fine.
This is like, don't worry about it.
The place is on fire. Should I grab a hose?
Yeah. Like, what?
Do I need a bucket of water? Like, do we need to evacuate? Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
But it got figured out. Basically, it's called self-terming on the program when you basically leave without notice. So this one person self-termed, and the person who self-termed was our trainer's like best friend, and he didn't tell anybody what he was doing.
Just her.
Just her. So when he self-termed, you have 24 hours to like leave, get out of the country, blah, 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 blah. And he'd been planning this.
The wild thing is I spent like that evening with them. I had no clue that he was leaving that night.
Really?
Or like the next day.
Wow.
That was the wild thing.
So yeah, he kept it like very under wraps. So when he left, everyone was like shocked, and all the responsibility of explaining it fell onto her, which she was training us, so she wasn't even like around to explain anything. And people were like, hey, like what's going on? Like why did he leave? Like what's happening? And she's just like, I don't know. It was just his choice. I don't want to talk about it, because she didn't have to talk about it.
No.
But yeah, it was just very, very, very awkward. It was a bad time.
And then I flew home for a couple of days, so I wasn't even around.
Yeah, you were like, bye.
Yeah. Oh, there's chaos? Okay, bye.
Yep.
Fair enough.
Yep.
Very different than my first impression of you. Yeah, I remembered more. So we were like talking about this the other night, and Amy and I were at one of the theme parks, and we just got off one of those drop tower rides, which I hate those so much. But like, I love you, Amy, because I would go, like, there's very few people I will like go on terrible rides with, and like you love it, stupidly love it.
I do
Yeah.
really like that
so
ride.
We come off, and she's like, oh, my friend Jen's gonna meet us. And I was like, okay. And like, I had seen you around, but we didn't work together, so I didn't really, there were so many people.
Yeah.
And Amy's like, oh, I need both of your help packing my apartment. But, like, not really a lot of help. I'm just, like, moving. We can just, like, watch a movie. We get back to Amy's apartment.
Oh, yeah.
Her crap is everywhere.
It's a hot mess.
Not a single thing was in a bag. Not a single thing was packed. We, like, Amy puts on a movie for us like we're 5-year-olds. And then slowly starts packing. And then when she goes to the bathroom, Jen and I just turn to each other and, like, I think we just start staring.
We have that look. We're like, okay. like wide-eyed.
We agreed to this. Well, that was the second time that had happened to me within a month that another person, like, they got fired or self-termed. I don't remember the whole situation. But they're like, oh, can you help me pack a few things? And I go there, nothing was packed. So I spent an entire day off helping them pack. And then I get to your damn apartment.
Yeah, it was like the record of show. I was not self-terming.
True. You were just moving.
I was just moving.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, yeah, it's good to meet you, Jen. Yeah. To babysit the baby.
Yeah, literally.
Okay. But, like, the thing is, I got everything packed. I did. Because I didn't have that much to pack. Like, really? It was just, like, my clothes. And I had only moved, like, 3-4 weeks before that. So... yes, I know. I appreciate you both a lot. Thank you.
Hey, you have changed, though, like, because we have moved a couple times now together, and you get better and better each move.
Yeah, this last move, I was packed and ready to go. Like,
yeah, you were able to take time off, which was nice. I couldn't, so you did a lot of the heavy work, which I appreciated.
Yes. Yep. That was the nice part.
But yeah, so if you haven't been able to tell, we met Jen through the theme park. But before we get into the juicy bits, Jen, what was your very first job? Now, you can say the company's name, or you can, like, make up a pseudonym for them. It's totally up to you.
We take either or on this
either or.
podcast.
Exactly. We usually say, like, kind of a pseudonym. We're like, maybe we want to work for them again. Or if I'm like, fuck Superstore, because I'd never work for Superstore again.
Fair.
Yeah.
So my first job was Canadian Tire. I worked there for literally, like, not even a month before I left and didn't want anything to do with them again for work-wise. Yeah, it was not good at all. No, it was bad. It was my first job. I was like 18-ish because I had never worked before. I wanted to focus on school. So I had been applying to everywhere, and Canadian Tire was the only place that actually, like, got back to me. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like, got a job. We're good. First training day was fine. Went over, like, the basics. I was cashier, had never done cash in my life. So we're like, okay, get there. My first day. Get my register. I start walking. I'm like, okay, where am I going? Like, which till? They say, you're going to the garden center. This is right when they open the garden center, like, right in the morning. And they're like, yeah, and you're going to be alone, by yourself. And I went, excuse me? They're like, yeah, you're fine. Like, go on to the garden center, set up, you're good. There's a phone there if you need me. Like, if you need anyone, you can call. Didn't really know how to work that phone. Had no idea. I had garden center people working. They had no idea how to help because they had never been trained on cashiers. So, yeah, just to say that first day was not good because, like, the next person that came in to, like, help the registers wasn't until, like, noon. So I was out there for 2 hours by myself.
Oh,
without help.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it was not good. People are not patient with you at all. Even if you say, I'm new. No, they don't care at all.
Well, especially, like, when businesses start to open up those, like, garden center things. Because, like, Canadian Tire does it, Superstore does it, Walmart does it.
Yeah.
When people want a garden...
oh,
they want a garden. Like, all of a sudden, there's all these, like, horticulture experts.
Yeah, they sure do. So
yeah, you think gardening's like, oh, such, like, a relaxing hobby. Nah, they're mean.
They're so mean.
Yeah.
It's just, that's all they want to talk about is their garden.
Yeah. And then people would ask, oh, where's this plant? And I'd look at them and I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, go ask a garden center person. They're like, I don't know where they are. Like, couldn't tell you either. Like, I haven't seen them, so.
Like, I've worked some shitty jobs and I've gone through some shitty training, but you never leave someone who literally has never done cash before by themselves. Because first of all, you could have been shifty. You would have been like, cool, I'm by myself.
Could have pocketed a lot of money there. Like,
and walked right out and they couldn't have done anything about it.
Yeah, because, like, you get your own personal register. Some places, like, you get your own personal register. Other places, like, it's the company that, like, you only have what's there. that was my personal register. Like, that was assigned to me. So, like, you could have been like, okay, bye.
Yeah, but like,
But, like,
this
I'm
is
a
my
decent human being, so,
Yeah.
like, I wouldn't, but...
just be like, this is my first and last day. Goodbye.
Yeah, gone. Yeah. It was not nice. And then you also have Canadian Tire money as well, and good luck learning that, because it was fun.
Yes, for our viewers who don't know what Canadian Tire money is, this business has its own currency, and the value of their money is 1 cent, 5 cent, I think 10 cents, 25 cents,
$1,
$1, and $2.
Yeah.
So people would save these fat stacks of 1 cent bills to pay for things.
Yeah.
They would. And like my dad, so my sister, when she wanted like her first big girl bike, like no training wheels, he saved all his Canadian Tire money, and he, people roll their bills.
Yep.
That giant roll. He took it all to Canadian Tire, and I think he had I think the bike was like on sale for like $70, and he had like $50 worth of Canadian Tire money. But when you think of how small the denominations are,
like that's a fat stack of
Yeah.
cash.
It is.
yeah, like I apologize, but my dad loves Canadian Tire. I mean, it is a dad store.
It's very much a
It
dad's
is.
store.
After a while, it's become my favorite store to shop in again.
Yeah.
Like, I like going there, especially for like their Halloween stuff and everything, and Christmas especially. So
Oh yeah.
So like I'm okay.
Yeah,
with it
you're
now,
you're
but
far
we're-
removed enough.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been a long time now. It's been over 8-9 years now. So
Oh yeah.
and we're good.
Well, then, as an ex-Canadian Tire employee, how do you feel about the combination Canadian Tire Party City?
It's interesting. I remember going into my local one and being like, what is this? Because I hadn't been there for months because of COVID. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that.
Like, why? Like, what is the reasoning? Like, did they buy out Party City? Like,
I think they have like a contract with Party City
Yeah.
because I mean, if you think about it, people go to Canadian Tire for decorations. Like they they sell Christmas trees, they sell Halloween decorations, they sell like home goods.
but they've never really sold like craft decorations or anything.
No, but I guess it's a place that people have probably started going to because they do sell like, I wouldn't say like your typical crafting supplies, but they sell things that you could,
Used towards.
use towards crafts and
They
stuff.
also have like a decent section of toys now too.
They do.
Yeah,
yes.
that was always really weird to
Yeah.
me. And especially because, like, the toys were pretty expensive.
Yeah, they got a massive Lego section now.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we the famous toadstool we have is from Canadian Tire.
Yes. I love. As we mentioned earlier, her podcast mic sits on top of it every week.
And then so Amy and I have a bunch of Canadian Tire money from like other things, but now due to COVID they won't accept it. But every time we went, I'd be like, oh, I forgot it. So I finally remembered it, and I was buying a vacuum, and I think we have like maybe like $3 in Canadian Tire money. Like, it's not a lot, but I was
Yeah.
just like, oh, I will use it. No, we're not going to take it. And I was like, oh, okay. She's like, you can sign. Do you have a Canadian Tire rewards card? And I was like, no. Can I sign up? No. And I was like,
What?
shouldn't you be like pushing me to sign up for that?
Yeah. You should.
Yeah.
Like, no. Oh, okay.
I think all Canadian Tire employees just, like, hate their lives because when I was in junior high, Canadian Tire is one of the very few places that will hire people when they're 14. And so I had a lot of friends in junior high, like that was their first job, but they were really strict.
Yeah.
I remember I had a friend say, like, you weren't even allowed to wear black jeans. You had to wear black dress pants. And I was like, when you're 14 years old, buying black dress pants, like, is expensive. Especially for, like, I'm assuming it's, like, a rather, like, kind of labor-intensive job. Like, you're probably, like, moving boxes. You're going to be stocking shelves. Like, even, like, sitting at a cashier all day in dress pants, that's not comfortable.
When I worked at the movie theater, we had to be in black dress pants.
That makes no sense. I'm like, and that's around like deep fryers and like hot cooking things. Like, I don't get it.
You get them from Walmart for $10.
Oh, okay. This is good to know.
And you wear them until they are disgusting and they can stand up by themselves. And then you get a new pair.
God.
Yeah. Shoppers was like that too.
Yeah.
Because I worked at Shoppers, and you had to wear dress pants. And then when I got fired, I tossed my dress pants were so disgusting. I just tossed them in the garbage on my way out.
Oh, I know. Like when I quit the coffee shop, I tossed a pair of jeans that definitely had a hole in the crotch for a long time. But I was like, no one's looking there.
Man, was that food safe?
Look, it wasn't that big. It was pretty small. I was like, I'm not getting rid of these jeans. I'm not buying new ones for work. Especially, I was manifesting quitting. Okay, if you're manifesting quitting, you're not buying new pants. But yeah, the only redeeming quality I think about Canadian Tire is their Frank collection.
Oh yes, you do love their Frank collection.
I love their Frank collection.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, it's just this cute little brand they carry. And it's just all these, like, basically, like, products that are named differently. So one of my favorite ones, it's Frank Struts His Puff. And it's marshmallows.
It is rather adorable.
It's really adorable. Or there's, like, Frank Gets All Dressed Up. And it's all dressed chips. Like, it's really cute and wholesome.
No, it's good marketing on their end. Yeah,
it's great.
so funny.
It's so funny. I will literally, if I'm in Canadian Tire, I will go out of my way to buy Frank products because they're cheap. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah, and they always have like great deals on like other home goods, like frying pans that are like $80, sometimes on sale for like $20 if they're having like a good sale. So,
yep,
it's worth it that way.
Yeah, absolutely.
But to end this discussion on Canadian Tire, I was curious to see, so with jobs, I don't know if anyone else does this, but when I see a job that I'm kind of iffy about, I always try to find employee like reviews of working there either through like Glassdoor or Indeed.
Yes.
Because that has saved me from applying to some jobs. And so Canadian Tire on Indeed, as a corporation, has a 3.6 out of 5-star rating.
It's not great.
It's not great. And so, you know, the first couple reviews is 4 stars, 1 star. And I always love the titles. Good employees, management is bad. Try to avoid working here. All right place to work until you find something better. Fun place to work. Unprofessional atmosphere. An unfair workplace. Don't. Just don't.
That should be their new slogan.
Yeah.
Just don't.
And the pros, if you like being verbally abused, this is the place for you.
Oh, no. I mean, I guess that's somebody's kink.
Yeah. So if
y'all like to be verbally abused, Canadian Tire.
It's the place for you.
Oh my.
But so you left.
I left.
You left it like a bad relationship.
Yeah.
And where did you go next?
I went to a magical place. Continuing with like the theme park, they also have stores based on said theme park. So I actually went to them and everything and got to work a magical 8.5 years there.
Wow.
Or with the company, so.
That's a long time.
It is.
Yeah.
I've never worked a job that long.
I think, Jen, you are my only other friend I've ever known who's had such a stable job in their life because, like, people always think it's crazy when I worked at the coffee shop for 8.5 years.
Yeah.
So it's nice that I'm not alone.
You're not. It's very rare.
Yeah, it's super rare.
For like 8 years, that's a very rare thing, but it is nice to be not alone on that.
Yes.
So with retail, did you start as seasonal or part-time? No. What was your trajectory?
Yeah, so for my position, it was a new location opening, so I applied for part-time, and that's what I received. So I was never a seasonal position, it was just straight part-time there. So typical work hours would be like, when we opened, you were getting like good shifts, like up to about 30 hours on a week, and then it really slowed down. So it was more like 16 at max if you were lucky. Holidays like 20 to 30.
Oh, wow.
So yeah. So it was really part-time.
Because when it first opened, because I know, because we had two we'll call them magical stores. We had two magical stores here. We had one downtown and then one at a big mall. The one downtown kind of sold like more like touristy stuff, and it was a lot of toys.
A lot of toys, a lot of kid stuff.
And then the one at the mall sold like a little bit more adult stuff. What did your store have a mix?
Mine was the biggest in our city, so we sold a good range of stuff. It wasn't necessarily focused on like certain things. When we first opened, it was mostly toys because that's what they were more like focused and driven on. But as like the years kind of continued on, there were noticeable changes, and you could see that they were noticing the trends. So we sold like more adult stuff, and we were getting like the t-shirts and the trendy items and everything, and the toys kind of started to shift down, and you could see like a big divide compared. So that's kind of what our focus was on. You wouldn't see the touristy options, you would see more the trendy options in our store.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And then another thing about the magical store is, so when you work at the theme park, because you guys worked in merchandise, but I saw this as well. Everybody knows that there is so much, what's it called? Breakage. You know, when things get broken.
Oh, like damage.
Yeah,
Yes,
there's
yeah.
How is the damage in the store? Because the theme park had its own personal store where you could buy the damage.
Yes, yeah.
So for the damaged items, depends what it was. So if it was like anything that was like bodily fluid, so if like a child came and was like, me, like, ooh, a character I love, and started sucking on it.
Oh, I was literally about to ask that. Did you have kids like full on, like grab?
Because parents would just let their kids run. So if some kid found a character and started sucking on it, we would have to then take it, and unfortunately it would go into the garbage. It was gone because that wasn't something that you could donate. If it was something that like had like a little chip in it and it's still usable, then it would get donated to charity. So we would always donate it to our local like Ronald McDonald House.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's actually kind of okay. That's nice.
Yeah, so that was like the nice thing. Ornaments were the worst thing.
Oh,
ever.
yeah. I've bought chipped ornaments.
Yeah, because there would be kids that would come and like hit them because they would be on this like giant tree, and there would be no like foam or anything underneath.
Yeah.
Until like years later, and so in the beginning, kids would just knock them and they would fall and just shatter.
Oh.
So like
R.I.P.
we would have to take the tags off and like keep those separate because we would have to go through them every week to make sure that they were properly disposed of. So yeah, but the charity thing was my favorite part, that if we had a toy that just wasn't working properly but we knew it was still usable, we would donate it to them.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
That's really, I'm glad that it got used because like I know like when I worked retail, it was clothing. Literally it would just be thrown away. Like it was just completely damaged, and I'm like, this is so unbelievably wasteful, but it's because they don't want to ruin brand reputations and have it end up in a thrift store, which I'm like, people are going to send this to a thrift store anyway. There's zero difference if it comes from the company or if it comes from someone else.
Yeah. No, most of the stuff that was like donated for toys would go into like the like special rooms, so kids can go and choose like a special toy for themselves. So like if it was like a special like wand or something, they could go and pick it out, and that would be their toy.
Oh
So,
my god,
yeah.
I'm gonna cry. That's really nice.
Yeah, it's really wholesome. I love that part.
Yeah, I just expected trash.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, or like some companies you have to, because people will go dumpster diving.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
And they have to destroy the items to stop you from dumpster diving. Like I know Bath and Body Works, they have to like smash the candles.
Yep.
So I was like, did you have to just like cut the heads off the stuffed animals?
Oh no.
Yes. Absolutely.
No.
The first time I ever witnessed it, my assistant manager was like, Jen, come here. Like, we have to destroy this stuffed animal. Like, are you ready? And I was like, what do you mean destroy it? And he just takes a knife and goes right through the body. And I just go, oh. And it was like one of my favorite like characters too. And I just went,
Do you have your Damien like Mean Girls?
yeah. I was like,
Oh my god, that's just
it was
bad as when we would see like characters undressed backstage in the park, and you're like,
it was terrifying.
I'm like, my eyes. This is something I can never unsee. I'm so upset.
It was terrifying. But as I continued on in my role there, it became a lot more fun to do.
Oh no, that's not what I wanted to hear.
It was like, hey, does
Jen.
anyone want to like do MOS? It was called, and I was like, I'll do it, and you get to like throw stuff. I was like, absolutely. There would be like one like hard toy that I would just like yank and like go, whoom, and then it would just like go everywhere. It was great.
So we went from like really, really wholesome awesome to like get your anger out.
Dark side of Jenn.
I just feel like if that was my job, just every time I would just go, I'm sorry. Like I'd be apologizing to all these poor toys, even though like they're objects.
Yeah.
I mean,
But I think you get kind of desensitized to it.
I don't know.
you do.
Do you? I don't.
I mean, within my last weeks there, I had a lot of fun doing it. Well, let's be honest. And anytime I had the chance, I'd be like, yeah, I'll destroy something. I have to, like, let me destroy it.
I gotta get my anger out on
Yeah.
something.
It's like, yep, I'll do it.
That's fair.
So you had a sad end to your 8 years.
Yes.
All of the stores closed. All of them are closed in Canada now, right?
Yep, they should be, yeah.
And the States.
And the States. It's not just Canada.
Oh, I didn't know they were all...
Europe and everything.
Oh, wow. Because I remember I saw it posted somewhere that, like, oh, the magic stores are closing in Canada. And then everyone's like, oh, like, they didn't confirm this. This is like, just a rumor.
Yep.
And then us working for the theme park, everybody thinks we know.
Yeah.
Like, Amy and I have never worked for the magic store. We haven't worked for the company for, like, I think I, like, worked for them last in, like, 2018 or something.
Yeah, I haven't worked in over 5 years, and I had people coming to me being like, oh my god, do you know? I'm like,
Oh, what?
no, I don't work for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, because our friends who worked for the magic store, because we have another friend who worked for the magic store, they didn't even know.
Yeah.
No one knew.
Yeah.
No one knew. Like,
And like
it's very secretive.
It was super secretive, and like the same thing kind of happened at the to the coffee shop just like months before, and people would come up to me and they'd be like, "Do you know which stores are closing?" No. Why would I know that information? This like measly little number of an employee. They're not going to tell me that.
No.
What are you talking about? The mermaid doesn't have you on speed dial?
No, it does not. Fortunately, I don't want to say unfortunately.
The coffee beans speak to you.
Hello, Amy.
No. So I don't know. I just find it like really like disrespectful when people do that, especially when it's a rumor about people losing their jobs. It's just it's insensitive, and I know people are trying to come from like a good place,
But it doesn't come across that way.
It doesn't come across that way.
No.
You know, especially when when it's people losing their jobs, these people are going to lose their income. Like, it's upsetting.
One of our employees got to the point where they would, like, if someone would ask, like, oh, when is your location closing? And we would tell them, well, we have no information on that at this time, because we went months without knowing. One of our employees would go and be like, well, I don't want to lose my job. And the second he would say that, all of a sudden their attitude changed and was like, oh, okay. And then they'd walk away from him. And I'm like,
Good for them.
good for you. Yeah.
Good for them.
Yeah. He would call them out on it. And I was like, I don't have that guts to.
Yeah. I had some family members I had to remind who like to visit the store a lot, being like, don't ask.
Yeah.
Well, like my mom. So the problem with like the magical store is the nice thing was they had stores here, because in Canada their online store is awful because the amount of cost for shipping and then brokerage fees and like
Duties and
taxes and exchange rates, like, it's obnoxious. I would never order anything online because you'd end up paying more on all the other stuff than the actual item.
Yeah.
So we would never like order anything unless, like, I mean, I know some people who, if they were just dying to have something, they didn't care. But, like, I was too cheap.
Yeah.
I would be like, if anyone I knew was going down to, like, one of the parks, I'd be like, okay, this is what I want. But my mom, she was like, well, what are we going to do? And I was like, I don't know, Mom. You know, she's like, they're closing. And I was like, I'm a little more concerned about my friends losing their jobs than, like, where...
About you getting, like, a backpack. Like, unfortunately, I'm very sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
And she was like, I sent an email to them. I said, look, what are you going to do for your Canadians? Because your website is awful, and how are we supposed to order items? Like, like, my mom is not a Karen, but, like, I was, like, rolling my eyes that she's saying this. Because when I used to work, because, I don't know, the magical company. I used to work for the magical company doing something else, but like customer relations.
Yeah.
And anytime you talk to customer support, they have about like 50, at least 50 automatic responses they send.
Yeah.
Like you skim the email and then you just pop an automatic response and you're like, cool, I got my numbers. And one of them, it's like when people would suggest, like if you're just suggest Netflix needs to add this movie, you go, Netflix, I need you to add King Kongs. I don't know.
Something along those lines.
Something like that.
And they will send back, wow, that's a great idea. We'll pass that off. Or, wow, we appreciate your suggestion. Viewers like you keep us going. Like, it's a very, like, basic response. So I was like, okay, Mom, like, did you get a response of, wow, that's a great idea. We'll definitely look into it. She was like, no, I didn't even get that. We don't know what's going on.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was literally the company for a good couple of months.
That's messy.
Yeah. But yeah, like that, she told me that, and I was like, that is so messy. Like, you have those saved responses, just save them. Like, oh, that's a great idea, I'll have to pass that off. Mm-hmm. Like, anytime anyone ever complains about something so stupid at any job, I just go, oh, but that's not really up to me, but I'll pass that off to management. 9 out of 10, I don't even tell management. No. Like, what do you expect me to do? Like,
oh, right. For me, the amount of people that were like, but you guys need to fight for your job. And we're like, what do you want us to do? Like, it's a company decision. Yeah. There's nothing that we can do for that. So there's that. My favorite, though, was, like, after the article came out saying, like, all stores in Canada are closing, and in North America it's kind of all around. This one lady was so adamant that it was happening, and we were like, we have no information. She fought with, like, our one employee at the front of the store and was like, no, this is happening. Like, you guys need to know. When is it happening? We're like, we don't know. And I was warned because I was at our tills and everything, and my employee's like, they are, like, aggressive about this. And I was like, oh, okay, I'll deal with them, it's fine. And she comes up and I'm like, yeah, I have no information for you, so you need to stop right now. And she kind of just looks at me. She's like, well, I read about it. And I was like, yeah, I have too. I don't know what you want me to do about it. And she was like, oh. And then finally left. It's like, that's like the extent of how people were to us, and it was unnecessary. But
they want you to literally storm the castle.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, pretty much. And then they're like, all right, like, I don't know what you want us to do, so.
Yeah, let me quickly call up the head rat real quick.
Help me.
I'd like to keep my retail job, please.
Oh, yeah.
So, that was messy. We're still very sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for me, like, yeah, okay, it's my job, but it was more the people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? So, yeah, that's what hurt. Like, we were a very tight family at our store for employee-wise. Mm-hmm. So that really hurt because, like, I don't see them on a daily basis now. And then even the customers that come in, we were very close with them. Mm-hmm. Like, we had regulars show up on, like, our last day who were supposed to be working. They knew that we were closing our doors, so they came to say goodbye to us. And we're like, aw. And we're like, okay, we're just gonna cry now and everything. So, but, like, it was sad.
Yeah.
So, but it's fine. Time for a new adventure.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like we like to say here, bigger and best things.
Yeah. There we go. So.
Yeah. But, so, speaking of the magical times, I don't know. Everyone knows what we're talking about, but it's like a little bit of an air of mystery. Like,
yeah, we're just, we don't like to say it because this is a company we don't like to go back and work for at one point. And, like,
potentially,
they did us a little dirty, so, like, we can air our dirty laundry a little bit. Thank you. But if you would like to hire us, we are available for work. Thank you.
Yeah, it's just like if you write a book about an ex-boyfriend, you just change the name.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Kyle, it's not about you. His name is
Nigel.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. But, so, we all worked at the theme park, the three of us, and you got there first, and then Amy, and then me. You worked with Amy, not me.
Correct.
So, like, we didn't really spend a lot of time down there because when did you leave?
I left in August.
And I arrived in April. So I know you now better since. Yes, because before the pandemic started, Jen flew here because the Jonas Brothers were in town.
Absolutely.
I'd never been to a concert before. So we're like, this is funny. Okay, this is totally not part of it. This is totally off topic. So I'd never been to a concert before as an adult. I went to a Hillary Duff concert when I was 12. Mm-hmm. And that was my only concert experience. And I was like, fine. But like my mom was always like, concerts are so expensive. They're so expensive. Like, they're not cheap. They're not. And so the Jonas Brothers had gotten back together. Like, that was our childhood. Like, I was a huge Camp Rock fan.
Yep.
So Amy's like, let's go. And I hummed and hawed. Like, you went to the Ariana Grande concert and I had said no.
Yes.
And Amy's like, look, Kelsey, do you want to go? I was like, okay. So Amy, while working the coffee shop, the tickets went on sale.
Yes.
So she goes, did you say I have to poop?
What I did is, so I got to work and I knew the tickets were going to go on sale, and Kelsey's never bought concert tickets before, and it's like the Hunger Games. It's like, you have to go in there.
Yeah.
It's insanity. And so I went into work and they asked me, like, how you doing today? I was like, oh, I'm not going to lie, like, I'm feeling a bit off. And they're like, oh, it is. And I was like, oh, it's like, I was like, you know, it's like that time you just feel really gross. And they're like, oh, don't worry. And I was like, yeah. So I was like, if you want to put me on till, just keep me there. Then I'll cause the least amount of trouble. And they're like, yeah, no problem. Let's keep you on till. So I'm like, looking at the clock. And then all of a sudden, we are starting to get really, really busy at the coffee shop. And I'm like, fuck, I need to think of an excuse so I can go get these tickets. And so this is probably like one of the shittiest things I've done at work. One of them, I've done multiple, but this is up there. And it got really busy. But I didn't like the people I was working with this day. And I went, I think I'm gonna eat. I was like, something's gonna come out of me. I don't know which end. And they're like, okay, go. And that's when I had my phone and I was like, and so I go and I'm like in line for the tickets, but something happened with the website because I was trying to buy one for you too, but it only let me buy 2. And I was like, I can't, like, it wouldn't let me go back. And it's like, you either get these tickets or you have to go back in line. And I had already been in the bathroom for probably like up to 10 minutes at this point. And so I was like, I need to go back to work. And so I bought them and I texted you being like, we got Jonas Brothers tickets. I'm so sorry. I couldn't get 3.
Yeah.
And so I went back to work and they were like, are you okay? You were there for like a long time. And I was like, yeah, I feel actually like a lot better now. I was just like, I think just like something I had for like breakfast that day just like did not sit with me and it just needed to come out. And they were like, okay, like, do you want to go home? And I was like, maybe give me like 30 minutes of like until that's like pretty easy for me to sit at, and then I'll let you know. Mm-hmm. And then I was fine the rest of the day. So, you know, you do what you must.
It's true.
To get tickets.
No, but it was a weird concert because we go to the concert. So Jen couldn't sit with us because our seats were not together. But we're like, oh, we'll go. You know, we bought our merch.
Bought more merch after you guys went to your seats.
Yeah, you did. You went back. Yeah.
You walked away with like 3 t-shirts.
Yeah. It's fine.
Yeah. Each bought an overpriced drink, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I ran into like the director of a movie I was in and I was like, what are you doing here? But he had like a young daughter with him and I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And then Amy and I are sitting at our seats and we're like bopping along. Also, the opener was Dr. Phil's son.
Yeah.
That was also really weird. Kenny Ortega was also there because he was filming. We found out later he was filming Julie and the Phantoms, which if y'all haven't watched that on Netflix, please go watch it. It's super good.
Netflix, give us a season 2.
Give us season 2. Yeah. Anyway, continue.
Yeah. And we're like bopping along and then this like guy and this girl are like a couple rows in front of us and I was like, why does that person look familiar? And then I realized, so in the theme park, I was a bit messy.
Yes.
We all know this, but like I've grown, I've changed, you know. I've matured. And I had a crush on this guy and like, I don't know. I can't remember what happened between us, but like, it was messy. We'll just leave it there. It's him and his wife.
Yeah.
They were not, okay, he like married her, like, they got together like shortly after what was going on there ended. But we're like, oh my god, that's him and his wife.
Yeah, because I recognized him. I was like, oh, that's H. And she's like, oh my God. And I was like, yeah. And then he left to go get drinks. And like, obviously he probably doesn't know what we look like at all. Like, I knew him briefly. I knew him when he was like a nice enough guy. And then what happened in the theme park is people were like, if you worked in the restaurant, you were nice until you got into service. Once you got into service and you started making money, you became an asshole.
Yeah, you'd make like $1,000 a week in tips. Yes. It was crazy. So many people went super, super nice, and then they turned in, they like thought they were the God's gift to Earth.
Yes.
And, I had a crush on him when he was super, super nice, and then the slide.
Yeah. It happened to every guy in Florida because, again, every guy in Florida was like a 4 back home, but a 10 in Florida because there was no men.
Yeah, and all the women were so beautiful.
Yeah.
So you'd see, again, you see these 10s with these 2s, but they were straight and normal, so it was a unicorn.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah, and all these women did not deserve these men. Sorry.
Yeah, whoa.
Excuse me. No. Sorry, all these men did not deserve these lovely, lovely ladies.
Yeah. Yeah. But we're like, Amy's like fiercely texting Jen. I'm like, you had no idea who he was.
Yeah, you're like, who?
At the time I didn't, and then after I was like, oh, I do know who that is.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was like, holy shit.
Yeah. But yeah. So back to the theme park. How was your overall experience? Because I know we've touched on it.
Yeah.
But how was your overall experience? What were your highs? What were your lows?
My overall experience is really good. I clearly made really good friends there and everything. You guys. But it was a range. My least favorite thing was the bar. We had a lovely bar in our area that was not in our role description.
Nope,
not at all. And then I remember being warned about it just before I left for Florida, because I actually had a coworker who worked at my magical store that went and did a program a year before me, and she was like, just so you know, they're doing a test in a bar at your location, so you might have to serve alcohol. And I was like, what? And as soon as we got there, it was like a permanent thing, and I went, oh, this is fun. Mm-hmm. So that was the least thing that I liked, but everything else was pretty good, I'd say. Yeah.
That's good. No, I know, because I have been a bartender, and I've been a server and a bartender, and I know how much a shock it is when people have never done that before. Because there's very much a difference of being on the side of the person ordering drinks and then being the person serving. I very much don't like being around drunk people when I'm sober. And I can DD and stuff, that's fine, but when you're paid to be there, and people are so rude and so obnoxious. I've worked at nice places, I've worked at shitholes. People suck no matter how much money they have. And people would be so mean and so rude and so aggressive, and this program is touted to us as the most magical place. When you think magical, you don't think getting shit-faced.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
I think the one experience that I remember is New Year's Eve. That is a major one. I had to work. It was a 13.5-hour shift. We were short people, so that only a couple of us only had to work that shift.
Yeah.
It was very rare. And I was there all day, and I remember my favorite part about it though was as soon just before the fireworks for the actual midnight fireworks for the new year ringing in, it was a rotation. We had to switch our positions, and I was inside before this rotation was implemented, and I think Amy was at the other side inside.
Yeah, we were. I think you were at the bar. I was supposed to be something like that. And the funny thing was rotation hadn't been called when it was supposed to have been called.
So it was delayed already.
Yeah.
And I just remember whoever pulled it was going really slow, and I was like, you better hurry up, because I want to get out to our cart so I can watch these fireworks. I've been here the longest out of almost everyone there. Yeah. And I was like, I'm tired, I just want to see fireworks. And I remember getting that slip of paper, grabbing it and being like, bye, and just booking it out the door.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, wait, what? I was like, bye.
Jen was determined. She was I'm not no.
No, I am watching those fireworks right now. I need that today.
Yeah.
I was like, it's fine. And then after after we closed up and we were done, I just remember going like into our break area or whatever and just like almost passing out because I was just so exhausted. And then I got in trouble for that. So I was like, why is Jen sitting on the floor? And I was like, because I've been here. And they're like, get up, Jen. I was like, oh.
The door's shut. No one cares.
Like, does it really matter?
Let it go.
Like, yeah. I was like, oh, I'm tired. But it was still like a fun evening.
It was super fun.
It was
like
super
the
fun.
best thing I think about New Year's, because that was like a highlight of my program too, is nobody was overly drunk.
No.
Everyone was just excited to be there, so they had
just a
that
good
like
time.
high already.
Yeah.
But I do remember that like one dad, this was like literally as we were closing, this dad comes up and we engraved little leather bracelets, and he's like, my daughter wants one of these leather bracelets engraved so badly. Like, we want to get it engraved. And the daughter's like, Dad, I don't. Like, I just want to go back to the hotel. Like, the daughter was so tired of the dad.
Yeah.
The dad was drunk.
Yeah.
And he was just like, no. You're going to get one of these. Like, what do you want it to say? And I was like, sir, can you please hurry? Like, Jen's over there, like, counting the cash.
Yeah, I'm like preparing our clothes.
Like, so we can
let's
just,
go.
like, leave. Because we asked them, like, are you going to pay with cash or card? And they're like, we're going to pay with, like tap system. And I was like, okay. So Jen was like counting all the cash, and I was like, do you want like this? Which font? The dad's like, I don't know. Which font? The daughter wanted to leave, but the dad was determined, and everyone upstairs was waiting for us. And we're just like, I just want to go.
Yeah.
It's tired. It's like 3 a.m. I want to go home. But yeah, it was a good night. Minus that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for me, New Year's, I was making popcorn and beer from like 9 a.m. in the morning, so I got to leave early. I got to leave at 9. So I was like, they were like threatening, like, oh, we might extend people. And I was like, I will flip this beer cart. I want to go home. Because if I had to stay till close, they said last year it took 4 hours for everyone to get home because of the bus and the cars.
Yeah.
So I got on the bus with 2 other people, and the guy was like, you don't have to stay. And I was like, no, take me home. And he's like, you don't want to watch the fireworks? I was like, no. Then you can watch fireworks here every night. Like, my unpopular opinion is I don't really like fireworks.
That's fair.
Like, because the one park had a projection show, and that's the part I love. I loved the music and the projections.
Yeah.
And then the fireworks were like a nice touch. But if like the projection part wasn't running, I wouldn't want to watch it. Because I'm like, ooh, pew, boom, boom, boom. Like, it's not the biggest thing to me.
Fair.
So I was like, I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna have like a small amount of sleep insanity. But I think that's like a good way to sum up that program.
Sleep insanity.
Things
that you did not have.
So you can do something fun and exciting, and it'll like be a huge detriment to your time. Or you can go home and have a tiny bit of sanity. Yeah.
Most of the time, we chose the other route. We never chose sanity.
Yeah. That was like the one time I was like, I'm going to choose self-care and sanity. Yeah. But no, Jen, would you go back?
No, just to visit.
Yeah.
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 Mm-hmm.
No.
That's it.
Yeah, there's a lot of places. There's a lot of jobs I've worked that I would just go back to visit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I go back. I've gone back to visit the salon. It's fallen apart without me.
Has it? Yeah, that's to be expected.
Yeah, I've gone back to quite a few jobs, and they're like, things are not good. And I was like, I left at the good time. Yeah. Your work they all closed. So, yeah.
I have no chance on that.
No, unfortunately.
Nope.
But, Jen, so what is next for you?
Right now it's just trying to figure things out. So hopefully find a full-time job, but who knows? So right now, go to a bookstore. That's it.
That is good.
That's my plans. So
we do like
crafting.
Mm-hmm. That is good.
Maybe look out for a local Etsy shop. Who knows?
Oh, we love it.
Yeah.
Love to see a girl boss here.
Possibly. So
What's your side hustle? What's your passive income?
who knows?
But on that note, thank you so much, Jen, for being here.
Thank you for having me.
I totally did not coerce you into this interview at all.
Not at all.
No, we were only like 5-6 drinks in. It's fine. You said yes and no takesies backsies.
Yeah. Here we are.
Promise.
All right, Amy, give us the outro.
Yes. Thank you guys so much for listening this week. Thank you, Jen, for being here. We appreciate you so much. You can listen to us on on Apple Music, on Spotify, on Anchor, and wherever else you can listen to podcasts. You can also listen to us on YouTube at Can You Take My Shift. You can follow us on Twitter at CYTMS Podcast. You can find us on Facebook at Can You Take My Shift. And you can find us on Instagram too. You can follow Kelsey at Kelsey Peets on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. And then you can follow me, Amy, at Shelly Amy on Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch. So that's all we got for this week. And until next time, Kelsey, can you take my shift?
No, I have to help my mom with her strongly worded email campaign.
Oh, yes, those are very important for moms.
Yeah.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system.